Welcome into this edition of Hand Raise Guys, presented by Comer Heating and Air, Southern Air Conditioning and Heating. I'm Neal McCready. That's Chase Parham. You probably know us by this point of the week. Appreciate you being with us here on the live stream. Starting a little early today because I was planning to go to a high school soccer game this evening, but one of the teams was concerned about the weather.
It's wet outside.
I mean,
It's raining.
no thunder.
You don't play soccer in the weather in the rain, right?
Yeah.
I'm kidding.
Yeah. No thunder, no lightning. So I'll let you determine which of those teams you think canceled.
I'm kind of enjoying the rivalries a little bit, I'll be honest. I'm just kind of hanging out and just
They play each other
watching
next
from
week.
afar.
I'm now very interested in next week's game. So
It's in the other location.
it's in the other location.
Okay.
Should be spirited. So welcome into the show. We'll get you ready for, I guess, one last look at Georgia and Ole Miss Saturday, 6 o'clock, ESPN. A lot of programming already up. Pete's Pigskin Preview aired just a little while ago. Once we get done, it'll be The Butcher versus the Dance Instructor presented by LB's Meat Market. And then I have a very long, but good, I think you'll enjoy it. Oxford Exxon Podcast Extra Edition previewing Ole Miss and Georgia. Mike Griffith of the Atlanta Journal-Constitution, Roddy Nabulsi of UGAsports.com, part of the Rivals Network, and then Ben Mintz from Barstool Sports will join. So we'll do all of that. First, I want to tell you, this show is brought to you by Comer Heating and Air, Southern Air Conditioning and Heating. It's the same great people, same great products, same great services, just different names. If you live in Oxford, Batesville, Tupelo, that area, get in touch with the people at Comer, 662-801-1777. If you live in Hernando, Memphis, DeSoto County, that area, get in touch with the people at Southern, 662-429-4429. You know how this works. It's warm out today, kind of muggy, but cooler temperatures are coming, and eventually the cold weather will come, and you're going to want to use that heater. You want to make sure it's ready to go. So get in touch with those guys now and say, hey, come check it out, because the last thing you want is family over for Thanksgiving or after that, and it gets really cold and you go to crank the heat up and it doesn't work, or it smells, or you've got a problem. You don't want that. So go ahead and get it knocked out now. Tell them that Neal and Chase sent you, that you heard about it at MPW Digital. We would appreciate that as well. This will be one of the Friday Oxford Exxon podcasts. Chase, what's going on at the Oxford Exxon?
It's not too late to go ahead and think about that catering for next week for ULM. Slabs of ribs, pulled pork by the pound, side items, desserts, all the things you need for a functioning tailgate for that 11 a.m. start against those mighty Warhawks that I heard you touting on your final few minutes with Pete there that aired right before our show tonight.
They haven't knocked off a big name team yet this year. I mean, other than Army. So they've upsets in the
because they got Liberty last year.
Liberty last year, yeah.
Already beat one SEC head coach. Just trying to go down the list.
I mean, you never know.
One big time quarterback, Malik Willis back in the day.
Yeah. May have been a warning sign.
I got a hunch. So all that. Sorry. Beer Cave though Saturday. That's really the thing to talk about because games in Athens. Not everybody's going to be headed over, but you're still going to need some refreshments, some sorrows, some celebration, depending on what it is that you're looking at there on Saturday night. So Beer Cave and more. Oxford Exxon, Highway 6 West, actually all Blue Sky locations up and down 55 and throughout North Mississippi. Still coming along on the very large one they got going on there in South Mississippi right now. Still in construction for that. So, yeah, Oxford Exxon for those things, as always.
And we're in the Clark Ford studio, Clark Ford in Amory, Mississippi, 662-257-1900. Call that number. Ask for Corey Clark. Tell Corey what Ford product you're looking for. He'll send you a quote within 15 minutes in business hours. It's right to the bottom line. There's no hassle. There's no haggle. You get your quote. The rest is completely up to you. You can shop that quote around. You can do what I've done, what I recommend that you do, and that's hop into a Clark Ford today, 662-257-1900. The Campbell Clinic Hotline will be open. It's basically open now. It's Campbell Clinics in Oxford. Now, 2608 South Lamar Boulevard, Suite 102, just across the street from the cottages at Hooper Hollow. The Campbell Clinic provides full-service orthopedic care, everything from sports medicine to foot and ankle surgery to spine and total joint care, pediatric orthopedics, physical therapy, and more. To book an appointment, go to campbellclinicoxford.com or call 901-759-3111. Walk-ins always welcome at the Campbell Clinic, Monday through Friday, 7:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. And all of our programming brought to you by Twisted Tea. Are you ready to elevate your college football game day experience? Check out Twisted Tea, your go-to game day beverage for college football fans. Twisted Tea is unlike any hard beverage you've had before. It's made with real brewed tea, packs a flavorful punch, 5% alcohol, no carbonation, delivering the perfect balance of taste and refreshment that goes down smooth for every game and occasion. There's no need to settle for the usual. Twisted Tea turns up any occasion, especially when you're cheering for your favorite team. Whether you're tailgating in the stadium, parking lot, watching at a bar, or hosting friends at home, Twisted Tea is there to elevate game day experience. It perfectly complements your love for college football, your passion for creating unforgettable moments. So let's toast to unforgettable game day experiences with Twisted Tea, the drink that fuels fun and celebrates your love for college football. Keep it twisted. Another programming note, not even a programming note, a note. If you're in town tomorrow evening in Oxford or the surrounding area and you want to go see Ole Miss and Eastern Washington. I started to say Michigan, it's Eastern Washington. There are tickets available. If you know someone, this is relaying a message from Chris Beard. If you know someone who would probably love to go to the game, but they're in a difficult financial situation at this point in their lives, it happens. Maybe they want to take their family to a basketball game, but they simply can't afford tickets. Have them drop by the TUI Center tomorrow. Stop in, explain the situation. There's a decent chance you're going to meet Chris Beard, and there's an even more decent chance that you're going to get tickets.
Feels like a guarantee almost.
Given to them. So Friday, Oxford High School has a home playoff game. A lot of people heading to Athens, etc. There are tickets available. Eastern Washington was a good team last year. Should be a good team again this year.
Oh, really?
Yeah, chance to see Ole Miss play. Game 2 of the Chris Beard era. So if you know someone, tell them to stop by. Chris said that he'd love to chat with them.
Perfect.
So There you go. I don't know how else to do that. I really didn't want to do that where it's like, if you know someone who
I get it.
could use a little help, would love to take the
Direct
family
it,
out.
Come by, get them yourself, get them to them, however you need to make that happen.
Yeah, but go by the TUI Center. It's in person. And then lots of tickets available, obviously, if you call the Ole Miss ticket office or whatnot for the 7 o'clock game, Ole Miss and Eastern Washington.
Good. I feel like we have, between your 2-hour show or whatever it is coming, pretty much covered Ole Miss and Georgia by this point. It's kind of how we are most Thursdays, but it feels...
Well, I can tell you
we've kind of been doing this for 2 weeks in a way. Even the way Neal was last week, it's kind of like, okay.
I can tell you what's not covered by now is getting covered tonight. Okay. I mean, it is like, Lord. It's a 2.5-hour show.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah, there's a lot. Mike Griffith talked for 1 hour and 6 minutes.
He's a talker.
He can talk.
He likes talking.
He's very good at it. He should be, frankly, one of the bigger faces of the SEC network. I don't really understand why he's not. So, what's the latest on the Athens weather, by the way? Still expecting.
It looked like rain. Yeah, I saw it earlier today.
It was 90% earlier today. Of course, it was supposed to be. Is it raining here yet?
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's been raining, spitting since like 1 o'clock.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It's been raining off and on for half the day now.
I got out.
The temperature is dropping too.
Oh, is it?
Yeah,
I went to the basketball press conference, and since then I've been basically here. I did do a 30-minute Peloton ride, hopped in the shower, and got back up here to do this show. So that's been the extent of my life. Yeah,
it started raining early this afternoon. It's picked up a little bit. It's been kind of spitting or whatever, but temperature has gone down and continues to go down. Let's see. I'm looking at it 10-day right now for Athens, or I guess the weekend weather. We'll click weekend weather. Where's it at? Saturday is 56 for a high, 47 for a low.
Ooh,
and chance of rain is 60%.
Oh, that's it?
Yeah.
Okay.
60% right now.
Okay.
40% earlier in the day, increasing to 60 by the evening.
Rebel Golf says, can we break down how the New Year's Six works tonight? Rose and sugar are college football playoff. Cotton, Fiesta, Orange, and Peach. Who gets first dibs? All right. The Orange has tie-ins. You're right. Okay, so the way I understand the Orange is the Orange takes the top ACC team and then the top leftover team that didn't make the 4-team playoff from the SEC and Big Ten. So if let's say Ohio State is 5, it would be Ohio State and in this case Louisville. If Florida State doesn't make the playoff, they would go. Whoever, but if an ACC team makes the 14 playoff, the next ACC team would go to the Orange Bowl. The top group of 5 team goes to the Fiesta. Is that right?
That's what I don't know. I don't know how the at-larges work beyond the conference tie-in games as they happen. That's what I'm not sure about. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what happens from there.
My assumption, honestly, is that at that point they just sort of all agree and match up and go from there. I don't know that there's dibs necessarily. I could be completely wrong on this, but I think other than that, they try to, like in a scenario where say Tulane is the top group of 5 and Ole Miss makes it 10-2.
See, I thought they alternated what bowl got the access team or the group of 5 team, but maybe I'm wrong.
You might be right.
I thought that was the case.
So it was Cotton last year. So that would mean they're going to Peach or Fiesta.
I've always heard Fiesta, but again, I don't see that on anything. I don't know. I'll play with it while we're Googling in a minute.
But I think the rest of it is just they don't want a rematch of a game that's already been played in the regular season. And then they just look for matchups. I think they all generally sort of agree.
Well, I do think that is correct, yes.
Yeah. But the only one that's kind of set in stone is Orange. Like the way
because they have to be.
The only way that Ole Miss would go to the Orange is if frankly Ole Miss goes to the Orange if they're 11-1 and don't make the playoff. That would give them a real shot of going to Miami.
Because you would pick them over.
Well, they might be the next highest ranked SEC Big Ten team.
Right. Yes. Correct. Yeah.
Because they would have beaten Georgia, and then either Georgia would have beaten Alabama to really piss a lot of people off and get in, or Alabama would have beaten Georgia, and Alabama would be in, and Georgia would be 2-loss, and so they would be below Ole Miss. And I guess it's conceivable Ole Miss at that pace could still be 6th because maybe Michigan or Ohio State would be a 1-loss number 5. I don't know.
It doesn't matter.
I mean, not even a little. But Ole Miss at 10-2, they're going to one of those bowls. At 10-2, your absolute floor, and a lot has to go wrong, is the Citrus.
Okay, this is per the Athletic. In years when the Fiesta and Peach are semifinals, the Cotton Bowl gets the group of 5 team. This is a Rose Sugar semifinal year, so all 3 are technically in play, but it's generally understood that a non-semi will not get the same or get a group 5 team in consecutive years, so it will be Fiesta or Peach.
Okay.
For Tulane. And then again, Ole Miss can't play Tulane. They do not allow rematches like that in bowl games.
And nobody would want that.
God, no.
Nobody would want it.
Including Ole Miss and Tulane.
No, of course. Leading with Ole Miss and Tulane.
Yes. So they'll place Tulane somewhere, or they'll place Ole Miss somewhere, and then the other one goes somewhere else.
I have no idea whether this is informed or not. I've heard a lot of Cotton Bowl talk if Ole Miss got to 10-2. Frankly, I think there would be a clamoring for Ole Miss from both the Peach, and we got an email to that regard a little bit this week. The Peach would be very interested in Ole Miss.
They've been, frankly,
aggressive.
Yeah, that's the word. I mean, like
to the point that
you have to go. Hold on a minute.
Yeah, like I'll get you on, but I have some questions.
And now, in saying that, the Peach does as well as any other one from a promotion. Actually, they do the best pre-bowl week promotion.
Yes.
And it's not close. So they simply could be just doing what they always do.
What are the dates on that game?
The 28th or 9th? They're like earlier this year.
Yeah.
Only one of them is January 1. The rest of them are like December 28th, December 29th, something like that.
I'm curious now what the schedule is. One was is the Citrus still January 1?
I believe that is still, yeah. That is correct. I'm pulling it up here. Bowl season. All right, here we go. God, they start on like December the 14th or something.
Yeah, it's quick.
Okay, here we go. Let's see. Not going back to the Texas Bowl. Feel confident in that. Cotton Bowl, December 29th at 7 o'clock in the evening. That's a Friday.
Okay.
Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl, December 30th, Saturday at 11 a.m. in Atlanta. So you get Cotton Bowl at 7 o'clock at night, Peach Bowl 11 o'clock the next day in the morning.
All right.
The Orange Bowl is December 30th at 3 o'clock. That's a Saturday.
Okay.
Too. So it's the doubleheader with the Peach Bowl.
Okay.
The Citrus Bowl is January 1 at noon Central Time, 1 o'clock Eastern.
Yeah.
On January 1. And the Fiesta Bowl is the exact same time, 12 o'clock on January 1.
Oh. Which one was the first one? The Cotton was first.
Cotton was first. That evening.
On the 29th.
That's correct. Yes. 29th, 7 o'clock. Peach Bowl, 11 a.m. on the 30th. Orange Bowl, 3 p.m.
Wonder when the media stuff would probably start on the 26th, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
Probably pretty early on the 26th.
Yeah, because...
Be a scramble.
Because it can't be any later than that. You don't have enough time.
Right.
Because even on January 1 bowl games, we go down the 27th typically.
Yeah.
So actually, it'll be abbreviated for the 26th because they won't even on Christmas, surely to God. The team will report on Christmas.
The team will probably report Christmas Day.
Yeah.
Or even Christmas Eve.
Mm-hmm.
Given that, I'd be cheering for Atlanta or Phoenix. I've covered the Fiesta Bowl. It was really well done.
Yeah, you always talk about that.
It was great. They took great care of.
Look, I've never done the Orange Bowl, so I have no idea. But if your options are Cotton, Peach, and Fiesta, it's 3 really well done bowl games. I mean that.
Oh yeah, all 3. Yeah.
They got New Year's Six status for a reason.
Yeah,
because they're incredibly well run bowls.
The Peach is actually a super success story because it wasn't always one of the elite bowls.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Back in the day?
Yeah. It was.
No, it's risen. Yeah, it was like a mid-level SEC bowl for a long time.
They did a big-time job with that.
They were great to us in 14.
Oh, they were amazing.
I mean, look, I get because look, it's not the same because I'll ridicule one that obviously I have some endearment for. The Sugar Bowl is awful for media compared to the Cotton and the Peach.
Yeah.
Awful.
Yeah. Trying to think.
Availabilities, hospitality, and I get you guys don't care about this part, but. No. It's true.
Well, we do, so we're talking about it.
Look,
yeah.
I mean, seriously. I mean, at least Hand-Rose got Thursday. The Sugar Bowl, there was like real set times on even like any kind. There was no snacks out ever. There was no alcohol out ever. And I get you're in New Orleans, but in the hotel, which is odd comparatively. They had a huge meal after the game. There was like a huge dinner
1 in the morning.
Thing after.
It's
1 in the
morning. Yeah, it's crazy.
Before the game, I couldn't partake in much because I was as hungover as I've been in my entire adult life in 16.
Yeah, you were.
I mean,
it was bad.
I wasn't sure I was going to keep breathing. And you forgot your power cord at the hotel, didn't you? You had to turn around and go back.
I had to go back.
You kept your cool pretty well. You weren't overly upset.
That was the same day that Campbell called and said, "Mommy can't get up." And I was like, "What?"
Oh, really?
Yeah, her back.
Oh, I didn't remember that.
Remember, she had back surgery 2 days later.
Okay, I didn't remember that. But the Sugar Bowl was just kind of okay. The Cotton Bowl had a bartender on staff basically 24 hours a day in the hospitality suite for media.
I mean, not literally, but close.
It was close. His name was Graham. And
oh, yeah, he was cool.
He was just there hanging out. They had all sorts. They did these like Olympics where they gave away really good gifts for winning at like pool, ping pong, Wii to the idiot media members. I mean, it was just us.
Yeah. And
Texas Tech didn't even bring anybody. So it was like just us competing for like TVs and PlayStations and crap and stuff like that. And then
you could take like a bottle of wine back to your room.
Yeah. And then we told this from the Peach Bowl.
I mean, not that anybody would do that.
The TCU media didn't show because there isn't any. So they were dependent on Ole Miss drinking all the alcohol.
In Atlanta.
Yeah. They came in with tons of bottles. We always told the story and just said, "Hey guys, can you please drink this?" And like we were headed like a go-kart track or something, like, "Make all the to-go cups, please. We have to get through this alcohol." It's like, challenge accepted. Yeah. Okay. Sure. Because that was the same week that one of the media members, she came back quite had a few beverages and was very hungry, and they started pulling catered food out of something and giving her like chicken and green beans and stuff at like 1:30 in the morning. We got back from dinner. I mean, they were just bringing it all in the hospitality room for her and serving all sorts of stuff. Yeah, it was something.
Yep.
Enjoyed the week. It was good.
The Fiesta Bowl took us out to this, like, kind of a old Wild West thing. And then basically you had anything you wanted. I mean, whatever you wanted, they basically took care of it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was really cool. That was when it was in Tempe, but I'm sure it's just as good now in Glendale.
Yeah, of course. And look, again, regardless of Saturday, you beat ULM, you beat State, and Citrus is the absolute floor. And you'd have to get a little unlucky to end up in the Citrus.
And for fans,
you need like Tennessee to go on a run and get ahead of you.
Yeah. But I was going to say, for fans,
the Citrus
is great. It's okay for media. Not that anybody cares, but it's all right. The only problem with the media part of the Citrus is that your hotels are typically on, what's it called? International Boulevard.
No idea. I've literally never been in Orlando outside of Disney.
Okay, it's
nothing.
It's
no
on
idea.
International Boulevard, and you have to drive all the way out to the Camping World Stadium because they practice in the practice fields outside of the stadium. So you have to drive all the way out there and all the way back and whatever.
Sure.
Now, they end up doing a lot of the media stuff at the hotels on International, and that's okay.
Oh, do they really?
Yeah. The teams stay. One of them stays at a big Marriott. One of them stays at one of the big Hiltons, I think.
Okay.
You now know far more than you ever wanted to know. I've covered the Citrus a few times.
If you could pick one, which one do you want to pick? Atlanta's the easiest to get to.
Yeah.
But I'd much rather be in Dallas.
I'd probably pick Dallas or Phoenix.
Okay.
Phoenix this time of year is awesome. The weather's fantastic.
Well, that's true.
I mean, it's perfect. There's no humidity, and it's like 70 degrees. It's awesome.
Florida State up 12 on the Tennessee Lady Vols currently on one of the televisions.
I would be surprised if Ole Miss didn't end up in Dallas or Atlanta, though.
Yeah, I would too. I mean, it just makes
one or the
sense.
other. Those two venues will fight for them probably.
They've had good history there. They show.
Yeah, Ole Miss is going to take tons of people to either one of those places.
More to Dallas?
I'd be curious to talk to Denson and find out, like, what's the
ratio
alumni breakdown between Dallas and Atlanta. A bunch, because I live here and I see a lot of Texas and a lot of Georgia.
No, they're two major out of state markets.
So I don't know which one's bigger.
My guess is the average Ole Miss fan would rather go to Dallas than Atlanta, even though Atlanta's a little easier to get to potentially.
That's my guess. I mean, I like Dallas better than Atlanta.
I do too. Yeah, the Cotton Bowl just feels.
From a media standpoint, Atlanta's a little better for us because you have a little more time to get there. I mean, that
extra day.
That's get up on the 26th and get a 6 a.m. flight to Dallas. I mean,
yeah,
realistically.
And they'll one team practices at AT&T, one team practices at SMU.
Yeah.
Well, barring any SMU, I guess they'd already would have played their bowl game or whatever they've got going on.
I would think so.
Yeah, don't ask me for American tie-ins.
I'm sure they could make it work, but yeah. But in that scenario, they play on the 29th. You'd only have 3. They'd probably just do stuff at the hotels.
Mm-hmm. So anyway, this is what you get on a Thursday night at Henry's, guys, without anything else. I mean,
the phone line is open. If you want to call it, we'll take your call. We can talk about anything. We've done lots of life advice on McCready and Siskey today.
I mean, I spent my morning arguing about baseball rivalries in the SEC. I mean, we've had stuff.
I think I generally agreed with you on it.
The one catch is that it's kind of like Florida and Tennessee going, we have the best football rivalry ever when you were in 1998. Going situationally, it could easily change.
Again, it's that deal. I had a conversation with someone at the SEC office earlier this year who said there's no way to make everyone happy. It can't be done. They can't accommodate everybody except in basketball because you can play a big schedule. but you can't make everyone happy in the other sports. You're going to lose some rivalries.
Here's the deal. We're discussing the fact that it was announced today the SEC permanent opponents for baseball. They are doing 2 permanents and then a rotating 8 each year to get to your 10 weekends. So
did they consider expanding the conference schedule?
Considered, but nobody wanted to really do that.
Yeah,
It just
you're
the only one doing it, it gets into some weird win total stuff.
You're adding losses.
Oh, yeah, big time. I mean, you're changing the calculus in a lot of ways at that point. Look, and what people don't realize, it's not like football where it's half and half. Again, do the math. You're playing 8 other teams, and you only have 13. They could set up some rotations where, frankly, you're still playing LSU almost every season. It will be very infrequent that you don't play the Tigers, in my opinion, because they're going to set it up that way. My argument back, though, is, and I think this is relevant. My argument today was that Arkansas and Ole Miss is 2 permanent opponents. Sorry, I'm burying the lead. Is Mississippi State and Arkansas. Very, very difficult. I mean, those are 2 teams that have been very much in the College World Series picture the last decade, 2 decades, whatever you want to call it. So it's one of the harder permanent opponent schedules of all the teams. And I'll finish this after I take the call. No big deal.
Hey, what's going on?
Good evening, Chase, Neal.
What's up, Rodney? How are you?
Oh, we know.
You know, do you? I don't really have much to say this evening, but I'm superstitious, and I've been calling in, and they've been winning. That's weird, ain't it?
Whatever. Hey, if you think it works, Rodney.
Rodney, if you think they're winning because you called, then it's possible. It's possible that's the case. I mean, I'd probably bet against it, but there might be something in the karma, some cosmic waves or something.
Especially winning 42 out of the last 43, right?
They're on a little bit of a run.
I think Ole Miss last one in Athens in '96.
Is that right?
Yeah,
I remember that game.
Eric Zier,
Hines Ward on that Georgia team.
Yeah,
Zier and Ward.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that was pretty good. Nate Wayne was on that Ole Miss team, if I remember right. They had a good linebacker.
Yeah, I'm getting them mixed up. Is that the Cassius Ware game, or was that?
It might have been Cassius, but I thought Cassius was on the earlier 90
Maybe
team.
so. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm getting them. I probably am getting them a little mixed up.
I think it was Nate Wayne on that 96 team.
Okay.
But sports fans, especially football fans, we're all nuts anyway. That's when I thought I'd give it a little. I was thinking about that. I've been calling in, they've been winning, but I wanted to give a little life advice to some of the younger fans, if y'all didn't mind.
No, go for it.
That's nothing. Okay. Now, and even I still have to remind myself of this, but back around 2004 or 5, I was taking the losses too hard. So I decided back in and not to let 18 to 23-year-olds decide how my emotions are going to be.
Has that worked?
Hello?
We're here. We're just listening.
We're waiting on you. Go ahead.
You've got the floor.
Yeah. I mean, that works tremendously. No matter what will happen, it's just a game. But I mean, sometimes it gets a little tough. It's just 18 to 23-year-olds. I remember Neal talks about that a lot.
It is.
You never know how their emotions are, what they're going through.
Well, and as Neal always says, they don't love you back. Like, enjoy it.
Yeah.
It's great, but, there's some perspective there probably.
Right. And as bad as I hate to, fellas, I'm going to have to let you go because my phone is not charged. Ain't that something?
All right, Rodney.
I'm glad you got the call in. I appreciate it.
Have a good weekend.
Maybe that'll pull them through.
We'll see. Thank you. Right. look, there's a happy medium in enjoying your sports. It can overtake you in some unhealthy ways.
Yes.
There's no doubt about that.
100%.
So what I was saying, though, is I do think the programs mirror each other in so many ways that it's not simply recency bias on Ole Miss and Arkansas. It's a very close geographic thing. They've been in the same league now for 31 years.
You always complain about the drive up there.
It's closer for Arkansas than anybody else.
That's true.
That's what I'm talking about. For Arkansas, it's whatever.
Keep going. You're fine.
Well, no, go ahead. It's fine. We'll make them hold on through a 10-minute conversation.
Hey, caller, go ahead. Hey, you're on.
Hey, am I on?
Yep.
Hey, it's Talbot Mice. How are y'all?
Hey, Talbot. What's up?
Hey, so just hanging out up here at the office. I got you on one of my screens, getting some work done. But Neal, you said something earlier in the week that kind of resonated with me. I'm sure you really can't comment on it further, but you mentioned there might be one coach that we have on staff that may have an opportunity at a head coaching job. My initial thought of that is maybe Coach Nix to Southern. I mean, obviously, I don't know what Southern's going to do, but I think that if he got an opportunity, would be a great fit down there. Just from being around him several years, he was one of my favorite coaches, definitely a player's coach. So I'm sure you can't comment further, but just wanted to throw that out there. Yeah,
I think I think Derek would be a really good head coach at a level like that. When and if that opportunity arose. I know Will. I like Will. I don't know why Southern Miss has done to Will what they've done with the statement and stuff. It was stupid. It castrated him in some ways. Maybe he'll turn it around and maybe things will be okay. I don't know. I can't imagine that Will's particularly thrilled with the way that has all gone down. But if Southern Miss decides to make a move and they don't hire Derek Nix,
you have to wonder, don't you?
I begin to question logic at some point, because look, you're not going to be a superpower in Hattiesburg. It's not going to happen. You're not at the top of the Sun Belt in Hattiesburg, and frankly, you're not going to be. There's other programs that are more invested, that have better resources, that are better positioned to do well in that league. That's a good league. So if you're going to hire someone who knows literally everyone in the state, who can recruit the state, who can recruit JUCOs, who loves the place, who is going to give it. I mean, not going to give it any more than Will's given it. I mean, it's hard. Here's the deal in Hattiesburg is that some of those people are going to have to find a mirror, and they're going to have to look in it for a long time and say, oh, wow, we're not who we thought we were. And then adjust from there. And that's a hard thing for people to do.
Yeah, I mean, Southern Miss, okay, great institution. Not saying anything about the institution or athletic program.
I'm talking about it.
There are two SEC schools in the state that they, I'm not saying they're little brother, but
well, they are. But they are.
Why
why can't we say that? I mean, it's sometimes you just got to look in the mirror and go, "Here's who I am." This is
how do I maximize that?
Politically correct.
Bingo.
Yes.
And
let's go. They're the little brother.
It's two. Well, they are. It's two things. It's look in the mirror and go, okay, here's what I am, and then like Chase said, now how do I get the most out of that? That's the part. If you're looking in the mirror, going, okay, I want to be. If they're saying I want to be a powerhouse like in the SEC, well, that's never happening. And so they've got. But how do you maximize what you do have? And look, I don't know, but
yeah, you got to get somebody like that has ties to the state, that knows the state, like you said, and can do a good job for them, and has a tie to the university. Look, nothing against Will Hall. I think Will's a great coach, comes from a great coaching background. I was at the game at South earlier this year, and the players just looked out of it. They just weren't clocked in at all. Didn't look like they wanted to be there. And, I feel for the guy. I really did.
What Derek would have going for him in a hypothetical scenario is that he knows a lot of young, up-and-coming coaches who would go to Southern Miss and work for cheap, and it could be a launching pad for young coaches who would go recruit their asses off. And listen, I think Derek would do a good job as the face of a program. I do.
I would too.
No doubt about it.
Is that opportunity going to come his way? I don't know. I mean,
it would keep being good for him financially, stay in the retirement program in the state. He's almost fully vested.
Yeah, he's been here for 100 years.
Yeah.
And I love, like I said earlier, I love the guy. He was one of my favorite coaches. Would do anything for you.
Yeah, Derek's terrific.
But
He's on his 4th Ole Miss staff.
He would, and he would do
and that's saying something.
I would love to see him get the opportunity. Is that going to happen? I don't know.
Yeah. All right, guys, that's all.
Appreciate it. Good to hear from you.
It was a weird sound.
Yeah, it was a weird sound. Is it okay?
I think so.
Okay. So, I'll be quick. The point is, it does mirror the programs more than you realize. It's not just their standing inside the conference, what they've done against each other. Ole Miss as a program was bad until Mike. They weren't in the postseason. They weren't doing all those things. Arkansas was the same way. When they got into the SEC, I don't think they had a regional between like 89 and Van Horn showing up. So they mirror even farther behind that, where I do think it is a natural tie-in. And Ole Miss across sports has enough rivalry with Arkansas to where it supersedes just this thing where it's, hey, because their both teams are good. I think Ole Miss had that with Vanderbilt for a while in baseball.
Yeah.
But that doesn't change the same way. I mean, I think Arkansas, heightened by the number of times they've played with each other, Ole Miss has gone over there and swept them twice to win league titles. They've beaten Ole Miss on the last weekend of the season to win league titles multiple times. Obviously, the stuff in Omaha, the Super Regional, just everything together. I mean, I'll kind of go to the mat on this. I think Arkansas is by far Ole Miss's biggest college baseball rival at this point. And I'm not sure it's close.
Bigger than State.
I think State's third.
Oh.
They don't even recruit the same kids most of the time.
Yeah.
Now, we can argue whether they should. That's a whole different conversation. And now, look, State's had Ole Miss's number, which decreases the rivalry intensity. Duh. But, I mean, I did a Twitter poll. I'll pull it up while we're talking to whoever we're talking to here.
Hey, who do we have?
Hey, this is Joe.
Hey, Joe, what's up?
So this is a two-part question. So basically, do you think every SEC coach would have reacted to the Rollins thing the same way Lane did, where a player hasn't made contact for 2 weeks? And the second part is, do you think that this was planted or brought back up at a very particular time in the week, or
the answer to
the
answer to the first part of the question is yes. Everybody would have reacted exactly like he did, probably even more.
Some of them
vehemently. I mean, my God. I don't think Lane did anything wrong. He probably wishes he had a word back.
Yeah,
but it is what it is. That word is used in locker rooms and football settings. It just is. So deal with it. I'm sure he wishes he had that word back. Other than that, he didn't do anything not even remotely wrong. And the second part, I don't know. Here's the thing: is that earlier today or sometime yesterday, Ole Miss filed a motion to have the suit dismissed, and I'm guessing that's what triggered the story or the audio. I don't think it was about the Georgia game. I really don't. I think it was about.
It was legal basis in some way.
The lawsuit.
Cool.
Okay.
No. What coach would have reacted the most aggressive? Who you got?
Oh, let me think. Jimbo would not have handled that well.
Would not have been pretty.
No.
Brian Kelly would not have handled that well.
God. No. Who would have handled it well?
No one, but
I mean, who would have even been calm about it?
Maybe Drinkwitz.
Maybe.
Well, I mean, look, it's all relative in nature here. Okay,
I mean, he's got some edge to him now. I think Drinkwitz would have. Hey, Hold on one second, caller. I think Drinkwitz would have been a little nastier.
Do you really?
Yeah. He's got a little more edge than people think he's got. He can be petty.
Billy would have been bad.
Yeah. Pittman would have been bad. Man,
look, most of them.
I'm not sure anybody would have been good. I mean, I don't.
I mean, Clark might not give a shit at this point. So, okay. But,
yeah.
By the way, the answer to my poll, and the way I phrased the question was, which series brings out the most emotion and rivalry energy? Because who you want to beat the most and who you want to lose the least are a different question sometimes. So I was trying to get the overall thing. About 1,000 plus votes, so not a terribly small sample size. Arkansas 39.4%, LSU 34.5%, State 26.1%.
There you go.
Yeah. Caller.
Hey, caller, you're on.
Hey guys, how are you?
Good.
Hey guys, how are you?
Good.
Good.
Yeah, you're on.
Up here in Virginia. Yeah, I found you guys a couple of years ago, and first sports podcast. I want to compliment you real quick. Because of you guys, I started listening to other people and pretty much came back to only you because you're the only two objective ones. Everybody else fanboys so much that it is much nicer to hear you guys actually be blunt about things. Now, to my question, I've heard y'all talk a lot about the NIL landscape and the changing landscape of football and college and whatnot, and how state and schools like Vanderbilt are kind of in a danger zone right now with where they are. We've already seen the Pac-12 fall apart. We're in a transition. Do we see a day where we're really going to get into a big level of haves and have-nots? And can schools like Ole Miss that are out in front of it sustain it?
Those are big questions.
Are you an Ole Miss fan? Were you beforehand?
I grew up one, but I actually went to the University of Missouri.
Oh, really? Okay. Where are you from originally?
Yazoo City.
Okay, gotcha. I have a hard time believing that with competent leadership, Ole Miss would fall below their current standing. Like that, you know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
I don't see any situation that would get to that.
So I got asked a mailbag question on this, was to rank them 1 through 16, which at first I was like, I'm not doing that. And then I was like, no, I'm going to do it. I'll do it a shot. But the truth is,
I'll find it.
The truth is 1 through 14, there's a lot of reason for optimism if you just invest. I mean, there's not the difference between 1 and 14 that there used to be.
You had Ole Miss at 9th, but you had it in a tier with 6 to 10.
Yeah, where you're splitting hairs,
which included teams who have won national titles: Oklahoma, Auburn, and Florida.
Yeah, I had 5.
And A&M.
To me, there's 5 teams at the top, but I don't know that the gap between them and 6 through 10 is what it used to be. I mean, I do think I had Texas, Georgia, Alabama,
LSU, and Tennessee.
I do think those 5 programs, if they're operating at 100%, man, they're rolling balls of butcher knives.
But what Tennessee is showing you is you can easily fall and suck.
Yeah, and they appear to be coming back.
Yeah, sure.
I mean,
he's done a good job.
He's done a good job, and they appear to have NIL in a good place. And I mean, and those programs,
I'd buy some stock in Tennessee.
Those 5 programs, if they're rocking and rolling, they're flying death machines. And the other ones have to achieve at a little higher level to get to that place. Those 5 have everything in place to do whatever. But like, again, Auburn, Oklahoma, Texas A&M, those are powerful, prestigious programs that can absolutely put everything in place and turn into a handful fast. I mean, so the answer to your question is, yeah, I think Ole Miss can. I mean, here's the question I have about NIL moving forward at Ole Miss, and frankly at a lot of places, is if you pour everything into football, is there anything left for anything else?
Yeah.
Can you do that year over year? How do you make that work? And what does that look like when in football season everybody's gung-ho and then basketball rolls around and you can't win, and then baseball rolls around and you're 8-22 in the league and people get pissy? What does that look like? I don't know that answer. Well, I mean, it's still too new to know that answer.
Yeah, and what prompted my question was I read an article where they interviewed the Washington State coach, and
speaking of blunt, he was blunt.
Yeah, and he basically has laid out that, I'm unarmed. compared to Washington, Oregon. And I think Oregon State's in the same boat.
Yeah. I mean, people don't like it when coaches say it out loud. I think you have to say it out loud.
You have to set what you believe to be the expectation.
I think you have to talk about it. I think you have to make it. There are some old school coaches that are out there, good dudes. Everybody loves them. They're great. But they came up in an era when this just didn't happen. When you as a coach had plausible deniability about what kids got, and you just coached football. And, man, I don't know that works now. And I think for some of those guys, it's hard for them to start talking about NIL and paying the players and all of those things and working hand in hand with the collective to tell a collective, hey, go get this kid and give him this, don't give him that, give him this. And then you do it. It's a lot of stuff. And for some of the old school coaches, again, good football coaches, good people, good recruiters, the whole deal, that is a lot for them to deal with. And we'll see how they adjust. But I do think this is, barring some congressional oversight that comes in and regulates it, I think this is the new normal.
I'm kind of inclined to think within 10 years we're going to continue to tumble in realignment to where you won't even recognize the sport.
Well, I mean, everybody's watching the ACC. I mean, that's the next. It's going to fall apart, and it's going to get reconfigured, and then how that all plays out is what everyone's watching for. But it's not if, it's when. It's not if.
Yeah.
One Super League or two Super Leagues that play each other.
Yeah,
one or the other.
The ACC's dead. The ACC is a they have been given a terminal diagnosis.
And the Big 12 is trying to be the head dog at the kiddie table.
And they've done it.
Yeah.
No, they've done
a
it.
good job.
They've achieved that.
Yeah. Back to the Southern Miss thing. Who are we?
Yeah.
Now, what do we do with that?
Yes.
I can't sit here and bitch and moan because I'm not the SEC.
No. The commissioner of the Big 12
he's done a hell of a job.
He should be commended. He's done a fantastic job of making that league. This is as relevant as we can be. So let's dive in. 100%. And there'll be a good basketball league. And a good baseball league.
You do great work.
Appreciate your call very much.
Yeah, thank you.
Have a good weekend.
Yeah. Hey, Neal.
No.
I didn't mean to hang up. I'm sorry. I did not mean to hang up on you.
So, I know we're all over the place, but I was on the message board because I was looking for the mailbag. Did you see the picture that Siski is referencing?
Yes.
And is he correct in that stance?
I will send it to you.
Okay. Okay.
Hey, caller, who do we have?
Hey, it's Jonathan from Houston.
What's up, Jonathan? How are you?
I'm good, man. How are y'all? Hey, two questions for you. One real quick. What was the last thing both of you guys smoked on the smoker?
Oh, God. I've been bad about that this year. I don't know the last thing. It was either a bud or actually a whole chicken. But I don't remember which.
Mine was wings.
You do a lot of wings.
I do a lot of wings because Carson loves wings.
Yeah.
I'm going to
do smoke them and then sauce them?
Yeah, smoke them and then pop them in the air fryer and then sauce them. And then I'm going to do a turkey soon. I'm excited about that. And I want to do a brisket again because I love doing a brisket because it takes all day and it's just
that's the move for Thanksgiving is turkey.
Sure.
Brisket's fun.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. The last time I did a brisket, I actually did a pastrami style and smoked it accordingly.
Oh,
it was pretty fantastic.
Tell me about that a little bit. I'm curious.
Yeah, so you brine it. I actually brined it, and if you get pastrami seasoning, I mean, you can find it online anywhere. Basically, you just brine it for a week prior to, leave it in the fridge, and then just smoke it like a normal brisket. Add the smoke ring, the smoke flavor, but it's a little, it's just a different flavor on a brisket.
Yeah, that sounds. So you brined it for a whole week, for a week in the fridge.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Cool. Second question, then I'll get off here. If I was to give each one of you $1,000 on the 11-point spread, what are you betting for the Ole Miss-Georgia game this weekend? And I'll leave it to you. Thanks, guys.
Okay.
So I have to put real money on it. The line is so right that I've just sat there all week and went, I don't know.
I'd probably take Georgia and lay the points. I would think that Lane would be chasing points late, and it could lead to a turnover that got.
I think Ole Miss is covering at the end of the third quarter.
Yeah, I do too.
I think Ole Miss can win or lose the line in the fourth quarter. I think this thing goes to the fourth, and we go to the commercial, and we do the whole thing, and it's like 27-23 or something, and that's what I think.
There'll be some nervous people at that point.
I didn't know the answer to this, by the way.
0, 4, 2, 3, 5, 2, 4, 7, 2.
Pastrami seasoning, if anyone is curious, you can find lots of recipes or it just in the container already bought or already made to be bought. Black peppercorns, black pepper, coriander seeds, coriander powder, brown sugar, paprika, garlic powder, onion powder, whole yellow mustard seeds, and mustard powder is the recipe that the famous Cat's Deli uses on their pastrami. Okay. So those are the ingredients.
Spatchcock the turkey. Okay, I've spatchcocked chicken many times, so I'll do that. Hey, caller, you're on. Hey, you're on. Turn your device down.
Okay, I just turned it down for you.
All good.
There you go. You're good.
I have a life question for y'all.
Okay.
So I'm from Memphis, but I'm up in Philadelphia. I work up here, lived up here ever since I graduated from Ole Miss. And I'm starting to date this girl, and she's like hardcore Philly, says John and all that. And she thinks when you barbecue, you go eat a hot dog or a burger, and all her family thinks that. And it's just one of those weird things they do that's just weird. And then also, Neal, what do you think about the Phillies getting rid of Castellanos? Do you think they're going to go get Trout?
Did they get rid of Castellanos?
They're going to trade him.
Oh,
that came out today, and the roommates are saying they're going to get Ohtani or Trout.
I don't think Philly's going to get Ohtani. If you told me Philly gets Trout, I buy it. But they're going to have to pay a massive price because the Angels, at some point, the Angels are going to want people to come to their games. And if Ohtani and Trout aren't there, they're going to have to justify it.
True.
I think the odds of Ohtani ending up in Philadelphia are less than 1%.
Yeah.
It could happen. I mean, that's a chance.
It's not much of a chance. I mean, if you're putting odds on Ohtani, it's Dodgers, Rangers, Giants, Cubs/Red Sox, Red Sox/Cubs, Mariners, and then somebody else. Yankees. It's just he's not going to Philadelphia.
But Philly's better than all those teams right now.
It's not about that. He could. He's not going to Philadelphia. He's almost certainly going to the Dodgers.
The top quarterback.
I'm sorry?
Why don't you ever you talk about Burrow and Mahomes and Allen when Hurts is better than all of them?
Yeah, I don't think Hurts is better than those guys.
Hurts is the best quarterback in the league.
You think Jalen Hurts is the best quarterback?
He's 10-0 versus teams with winning.
No, he's not.
He's 10-0 with a winning. He's 10-0 versus teams with a winning record. Yes, he is.
No, he's not the best quarterback in the league. He's just not. I mean,
10-0.
No, he's not. He's good. He's really good, but he's not. He's not Patrick Mahomes. You don't think the Eagles?
He beat him.
You don't think the Eagles would trade Jalen Hurts for Patrick Mahomes right now?
No.
Oh, I mean,
no.
I love fandom. I do.
How long have you been in Philly?
A check down quarterback.
How long have you been in Philly?
4 years.
Okay.
Okay.
That's fast.
That is fast. It is quick.
I wouldn't.
You don't think?
I wouldn't take. Huh?
You don't think the Philadelphia Eagles, if they got a call today from the Cincinnati Bengals, and the Bengals said, "Hey, we'll trade you Joe Burrow for Jalen Hurts," straight up.
No, Joe Burrow. No.
See,
what's he doing?
You're like some of my Cub fan friends who are right now. There's this talk about the Cubs trading for Juan Soto, and it's going to take a prospect haul. It is. It's going to hurt, and they're like, we can't trade Cade Horton, and I'm like, well, you can't trade him for Juan Soto? No, can't do it. Why?
Juan Soto's not good either.
I mean,
but anyway, I think Hurts is the best quarterback. The only Chief I would take right now is Kelsey, and that's just because we have Jason.
God. Bless your heart. I get it. I love fans, man. Y'all are awesome. I get it. I love Ian Happ. I do. He's great. But if you offered me Juan Soto for Ian Happ, I'm driving Ian to the airport.
Packing all the bags.
We're going. See ya.
And then, what do you think the line will be next Monday night versus the Chiefs?
Eagles Chiefs?
Yes, next Monday night. Because we're going to that. I'm going with all my roommates.
Where's in Philly?
We said it has to be like.
Is it in Philly?
Oh no, it's in Kansas. It's in Kansas City.
Oh, Kansas City minus 4.5.
I actually think the Eagles might be the better team right now.
Yeah.
But the Chiefs will be a very small favorite.
Easy.
Yeah.
All right.
Go Rebels.
Thanks for the call.
Appreciate it. Oh, and the other, look, it's dumb. No, they have cookouts with hamburgers and hot dogs. They don't have barbecues.
Right.
Barbecues involve pork and smoking things or smoking things in some element.
Jalen Hurts.
It's probably not a reason to break up with the chick. Because something tells me you're really into her based off that call.
It appears to be the case.
I think Grind's on to something here in our stream right now.
Yeah. Did you see the picture I sent you, by the way?
Yeah, I did. Are we calling people back or something? What are we doing?
I'm not sure exactly.
Okay. Yeah, he probably ought to play that one on out. Just see where it goes. He's not going to do better.
No.
At least in that. Although there was a very relevant question on the message board, which
if those are the benefits, that is one hell of a benefit package.
But the question on the board that was relevant is, why is that still an availability at this point? Something.
Okay, well, I know a little bit more now because I have done some follow-up research.
Okay. Saved by the bell.
Saved by the bell. All right, hold on. I'm trying to get to you. There's this. It's Corey. I'm trying to get to you, buddy.
Because see, the Philly people, too, they call their grill a barbecue. They go, hey, go out and light the barbecue.
Yeah, it doesn't work like that. What's up, Corey?
Yo, no, this is Grind.
Oh,
okay. Popped up, Corey. Hey, Grind, what's up, man?
Yo, what's up? I mean, shoot, was the man, if the superstar trying to get in, I feel like I may need to bag up for him.
No, you're all
no, you're good.
We'll get him back.
Oh, all right, man.
You were right, though.
Man, I'm just enjoying the show, bro. Look, yeah, he talking about Jalen Hurts, the best quarterback. Man, look, I can see that from a mile away. I've been there. You know what I mean? I've been in that situation, so it's all good,
Oh, yeah. He's coming from...
He's perfectly fine bowling his hot dogs, calling it a barbecue, doing whatever he's doing up there, bud.
He's coming from a good place. He thinks Shohei's going to the Phillies. I mean, I'm sure that if I had gone NBA on him, he would have told me Embiid was the best center in the history of the game. I'm totally in. I get it. I get it.
Yeah.
She's special. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Chowder probably that man's favorite meal now. I mean,
probably so.
Who knows, man? But so things have turned around for me though. I mean, with this Colorado bet with my brother, they was 3-1, and now they freaking 4-5. I'm in a good position. I feel pretty good on that. And I feel good about the over bet that I made with Ole Miss. And so, man, you guys seem a little, tepid about, going in on the Rebels this weekend, man. Honestly, like this would be a good weekend for some chaos to happen.
Oh, I think Ole Miss has a shot. I'm not going to pick them because I don't know if you're probably aware of this. Being an Auburn fan, Georgia has not lost since the Jefferson administration. They don't lose.
Yeah, I know.
They don't lose. You don't win 43 of 44 games by accident. You know what I mean? I mean, you don't. That's a streak that you don't luck into that. You don't win 26 in a row by just having some good fortune on your side. You got players.
No, I agree with that. And now the Michael Pettis news. I mean, if what y'all was getting at is kind of true, I mean, I think that's kind of big because I think Ole Miss best way of winning this thing is actually being efficient in the run game and kind of grinding it down a little bit. I mean, as weird as it may sound, I mean, Georgia has looked more efficient without Brock Bowers on offense. And so in a shootout, yeah, it may favor Ole Miss, but I think just with an underdog, I think you want a low-scoring game, try to keep it as close as possible. You don't want, their athletes getting out in open space, even though it's supposed to rain or whatnot, which I think is going to make the game interesting.
So what's your prediction?
I think it's going to make the game real interesting. Talking for the Ole Miss-Georgia game?
Yeah.
You may get it.
Yeah.
I mean, I had just from surface level, I would pick Ole Miss on the spread because I don't think this is the week where Georgia goes nuts on somebody. I think next week at Tennessee is the week where you probably hammer Georgia. So I would go Ole Miss this week. And I mean, it's not a bad money line bet, but I just think being safe, just being safe and being smart with your money, I would go Ole Miss and the under on the total. I think especially with the weather update that you guys have given, I like the under on that game. And then I mean you guys, now look, you guys, I was so upset with y'all this morning, man, talking to Jeffrey. Y'all don't think the good Lord's gonna be on Hugh Free's side? I mean, you saw he's giving them good weather. Mid-60s and sunny and Fayetteville. When you get that in November, man? Come on now.
You get that in Fayetteville all the time in November. I was there last year in November. It was 60-something degrees and beautiful sunny skies for the Mississippi State game. It's all the time. The whole weather's awful there all the time thing is just fraudulent. It's not true.
Okay.
I got Seattle
you. I got you.
Northwest Arkansas.
It's really not. They do get a lot more rain than in the mountains, but it's not like that.
All right. Before I'm gonna get you guys started on Mississippi State. Then I'm gonna hit you with a trivia that you guys can just answer off the air. I'll compensate you guys if you get it right.
Okay.
But this Mississippi State thing, man, it's weird to me because they have an actual head coach, but they have media members that are actually going on like live radio talking about like, fans is going to be okay because you're going to have a new coach at the end of the season and he should play. The craziest thing I've heard is that he should play Chris Parsons so the next guy knows what he has in him. I'm like, what? I'm like, what are y'all talking about? And y'all saying this on live air? On like live radio waves, a podcast is different to me. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we're not monitored by the FCC.
Thank God.
Yeah, you know what? Yeah.
After this morning.
Yeah.
and Corey, I mean not Corey, Tyler.
But you guys, I guess maybe it's just me, but even at Auburn, we didn't even do Brown Harsin like that. We at least, if you're going to fire, that's my thing. If you're going to fire the dude, fire the dude. And then they're talking about, the candidates. Like, one guy, I guess one of the fans had asked, should we look at Jamie Chadwell? And he was like, I'm just not sold on Jamie Chadwell. And I'm like, dang, bro.
Yeah,
y'all think y'all can shoot high.
They're in for. They're talking about Bob Stoops the other day. Bob Stoops is going to leave his happy retirement in Norman to go to Starkville.
Bob Stoops?
Bob Stoops.
Hold on a minute.
It
was a joke. Come on.
It did not appear to be a joke. And we're about to have the GOAT conversation.
Bill Cowher unavailable?
Apparently, Bill Cowher is unavailable. He's happily retired. I mean,
are they going?
Nick Saban's just 80 miles down the road.
Am I crazy for? Because they're saying that the only way he stays is if he wins out, and I'm like, all right. But do you guys really think they're gonna get rid of him?
It feels like it more by the day.
Yeah, it feels like they're going to.
All right, man. Okay. All right. And so, shoot, I guess, this little trivia that I hit you guys with. Hey, and Neal, you on Missouri this week, aren't you?
Yeah, I am kind of on.
Because I think Siska's on Tennessee.
Yeah, I'm on Missouri.
Yeah, see, I think Siska gonna lose that one. I'm with you on Missouri, man. I like Missouri.
He's higher on Tennessee than I am.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, I'm not that high on Tennessee. They gonna hit the season win total over, but I mean, I'm not sold on.
Yeah,
I'm not sold on them this year. In the future, you're probably sold.
Yeah.
So this trivia, man, that I have for you guys.
All right.
All right. The question is, and Lane Kiffin has done a good job so far at Ole Miss. He hasn't had a losing season yet. And when you look at coaches who won a national championship, they don't usually have losing seasons, except for a few. So the trivia is, who are the last 4 coaches to have a losing season after they won a national championship?
After
Jimbo Fisher.
After they won a national championship.
Jimbo Fisher.
Okay.
Gene Chizik.
Yeah.
There's one. Okay.
Mac Brown.
Philip Fulmer.
There's a guy before him. He's 5th.
Oh, so after him, you mean?
Yeah. Well, yeah, after him, I guess. Yeah.
Okay, after Fulmer. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Steve Spurrier.
That'd be before. That would.
Steve Spurrier. Yeah.
I mean, Urban didn't have a losing record.
I don't think so.
It's not Les Miles, is it?
Nope, it's not Les Miles.
Okay.
He didn't have a losing record at Kansas?
Well, I think it's probably at the school he's won the national title at. I don't think we're doing it in that direction.
Okay.
I mean, hell, there's only been that many title winners since '98 when Phil Fulmer did it. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and go through the whole list, but
did Malzahn ever have a losing record?
He didn't win it.
Oh, that's right.
They lost. No, sorry, Ryan.
Who'd they lose to? Oregon. Who was the coach?
No. Was it Oregon? Was that right?
No, they lost to Jimbo.
It was Jimbo. Yeah. Do we have a phone a friend?
This was so obvious. Ed Orgeron. What the hell, Eddie?
Sorry, guys.
Actually, Ed Orgeron went 5-5 during COVID.
Oh, it doesn't count?
Before he got fired, he went 6-6. So he did not have a losing record. He actually never had a losing record at LSU. He got fired before the bowl game against Kansas State.
Oh, how about that?
Yep, you can thank Dan Mullen in the Florida player for throwing the shoe for that one.
Oh yeah. National championship, going to have a bad losing season.
I mean, is it
now?
Is it Bobby Bowden?
Nope. Bobby Bowden didn't have a losing season. Now I will say this, because you guys did say Steve Spurrier, because he did go on to have a losing record at at South Carolina. So if Les Miles did end up going to have a losing record at Kansas, I didn't look him up, because I forgot that he had even went to Kansas, and I thought that they had X'd that whole thing out before he had even was able to coach, unless I'm mistaken, right?
I thought he coached a season.
Yeah, I couldn't remember. I thought he did. I thought he coached a year too, but I could be wrong. I mean, I don't know that.
Okay. I mean, I give. I mean, once I say it, you guys, it's a very forgotten program, and I mean, Neal. See it now. So if I give a hint, Neal's gonna he's gonna say it right off. He's gonna say it right off.
Butch Davis.
You got the right school. You got the right school.
Larry Coker.
Larry Coker.
There you go. Okay. Larry Coker at UTSA. Yep. And like I said, if I look, I bless you guys anyway. But that was a pretty good trivia. Dang, man, you guys hit them first three pretty
Yeah, the
quick.
first three
like,
I felt okay about, and then Chiswick was off the top of my head, flashing lights, and then we go from there.
Yeah, and then you guys hit Mac Brown and Jimbo, so I was like, all right. I mean, it's actually pretty sad for you guys not to say Ed Orgeron. So, all right, I'm gonna keep enjoying the show, man. You guys
appreciate
have a
it,
good
Grind.
weekend.
Thanks, Grind.
All right.
Tell Corey you can call.
I'm looking for it. It's a little complicated, the screen, and so it's.
He told me to tell him when, so we're doing that. Is that him?
Yes. Hello, Corey.
Hey, is this Neal and Chase?
Yes.
What's up, guys?
What's up, man?
Oh, just grab the boys some burgers in the culinary that is Amory.
Yeah,
where'd we get the burgers from?
We went Knights tonight.
Oh, okay. Home of the famous steak sandwich.
Neal, you would absolutely. I mean, I don't know that you could go in the door of this place. I think you would be breathing in calories.
The grease is kind of like coated on the walls, and just
yeah, that's good.
Is the steak sandwich still good? Is that still a thing?
Burgers. I hadn't had one in 10 years. You can feel your heart slow down. The steak is twice the size of the bun. It spills out like onto the whole plate. But my boys call it the best burger in town, so that's where they want it.
It makes Ajax look like the salad place down the street.
Yeah, and it makes Handy Andy look like like they're serving up smoothies or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's what's everybody saying tonight?
Nobody really wants to talk about the game much. We're kind of just doing a little life advice, talking about some grilling, talking about some female situations, that kind of thing. Just stuff, Corey.
I saw Siski's post on the board. Apparently, he got a picture of the girl in question.
Yeah, we can.
And he totally backtracked and said, "Yep, go for it."
Yeah, he did. He Tyler showed his colors and backtracked completely. My assessment of the situation turned out to be fairly accurate. There are some feelings involved that he has not expressed because the female in question can be somewhat emotionally chilly.
Oh.
And he's afraid that if he expresses his feelings that will be the end of it. Yet I think he knows that he probably needs to be the end of it because he needs to move on.
So he's understood it's not going to be a long term situation.
He feels like if he moves on if he doesn't end this and at some point is in an honest to goodness relationship and she's still in the picture, that it will become a problem. And he's probably
right.
I
don't feel like I'm probably at my stage in life not the best person to give advice in this situation. But so nobody's talking about the game.
Really. A little bit, but not really. Our Grind's about the only one that even wanted to give some thoughts on it. We've
talked about it, and and there's more programming coming about it. So it's kind of, I think it's one of those deals where Chase and I are willing to talk about it, but at this point, people are gonna have to bring it up because it's not.
Well, the hay's in the barn. It is what it is at this point.
I have perked up much more on barbecue and life questions. I'll be honest. Your eyes are glazing over at some point. So Georgia's backup linebacker situation. You go, oh, I don't know. Sure, they're going to play the game.
Well, I was listening to the pod with Jeffrey, and y'all were talking about the over/under. Is that thing still at 58.5? And is the weather still the same?
I'll check it. But it was earlier today.
It is still 58.5.
That seems if it's going to be
you want the under
raining like that.
Yeah. Well, it's like hit or miss though. It's like 50 to 60%.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's not like 95 and goalie washing.
Well, I've never understood this either. Side topic. When it says 50% chance of rain during the hour of 7 to 8 o'clock, for example, does that mean that 50% of the time it's supposed to be raining, or does that mean that there is a chance of one drop hitting, and that's a 50% chance?
That means that 50% of that area will get rain.
Yeah. In their prediction.
Okay. Okay.
That's right, correct? Yeah.
I think so.
Life's mysteries. All handled.
Anything
else going on?
Who's Amory got tomorrow night?
West Lauderdale. Sorry about your Tigers, by the way.
That's okay.
Just send condolences early.
Hey, they almost won the division. I only missed the division by like 4 points.
Oh, that sucks.
They are leaving school at like 2 tomorrow, I think.
All right.
Everybody got out. That's in Big Collinsville, Mississippi.
I couldn't have told you that.
They're supposedly 10-1, but haven't played anybody. I don't know. West Lauderdale folks will be throwing stuff at my daughter on the sidelines cheering tomorrow, I guess. But that's the scuttlebutt out of the coffee club anyway. They're 10-1, but they haven't really played anybody.
There's very much a Varsity Blues vibe coming out of that, Corey. Like, I'm just saying.
Oh yeah. I'm the car dealer. What's his name?
Put their wieners on the glass at the Kiwanis Club.
If my boys are too much trouble for you, you let me know. All right, guys. Well, got any life advice y'all need from me?
I'm sure, all of it. What do you got? We'll take every bit of it.
If you got some tips, fire away. Now's the time.
No, we're good. We're good.
Their one loss is to 7A Germantown, Corey. They lost 31-9. That's actually who Oxford plays tomorrow night.
Yeah.
Really?
That is correct.
How's is tomorrow the start of the 7A playoffs?
That is correct. Yeah, because there's only the 2 districts with 4 each up here. So yeah, it's this week.
I think 1A and 7A start tomorrow.
I believe that is correct, to the best of my knowledge.
I got you.
Mm-hmm.
It was crazy because Amory lost to Ripley, and when they did, it actually meant that Louisville would not meet Amory if everybody won out until the north half. And if
so
they
it actually
won
helped
the division, it actually helped when, because Louisville was probably the best team in the state.
Yeah.
The transitive property thing. I think they beat Starkville. They beat they beat West Point bad, and West Point beat Tupelo, and Tupelo kind of roughed up Amory in the scrimmage. So I think Louisville has a lot of that, like 1995 Amory team to it. But yeah, they supposedly are.
Well, I'll tell you, Germantown is the weird one, Corey. I know we're just talking high school football at this point. Germantown is really strange. They're the 4 seed out of that other district. Oxford won the region, and the other side is much better. It's possible if Oxford didn't win, that side goes 0-4. But one of the stranger things you'll see, Germantown beat Starkville and then lost 49-0 to Madison Central and 42-3 to Tupelo.
Huh. Daggone.
Yeah, weird deal there.
Is that other side kind of the Madison County schools?
Yeah, it's
Madison
Tupelo,
Central,
Clinton, Starkville, Madison Central, Germantown. Football, that's the big side, and then in baseball, it's obviously Oxford and the DeSoto County schools.
Right. Clinton and Starkville are on the same side?
Yeah.
It's good for soccer. One of them's going down.
Neal's scheming over here.
At one point, I think it was softball. I can't really remember off the top of my head. But 1A Smithville and 1A Hamilton played for the state championship in some sport in Jackson, Mississippi, because Hamilton, Mississippi in Monroe County and Smithville, Mississippi in Monroe County. Smithville's in the north and Hamilton was in the south. They were the northernmost team in the south.
Hold on a minute. Hamilton was in the south and something?
Yep. I think it was softball. Softball. I don't think it was baseball. But yeah, they were the South champion of 1A in a sport, and played Smithville, literally 20 miles apart as the crow flies, in Jackson, Mississippi for a state championship. Yep.
Did not know that.
Yep. Story time with Corey.
Okay.
Yep.
Well,
that happened. All right. Well, let me get in here and tend to children.
Enjoy.
All right, buddy. Be good.
We'll talk to you soon.
Later.
She even acts like the kid.
Yeah. I have no idea what
we could film that Neal having to go to Knight's Drive-In and order a meal because, I mean,
you think I'd have some problems?
I'm telling you, it is a breaded fried steak sandwich thrown on some bread, and that steak is this big with a bun. Like it's quite the fillet.
I'm trying to get to you. Hold on. Hang tight. I'm trying to get to you. This thing's a bit of a mess right this moment.
What's going on?
It's so many calls came in at once that it's confused.
Yeah.
That's all. Yeah, I'm gonna have to turn it off and turn it back on. Simple as that. It's totally confused.
Okay. That's all right. Is somebody on?
They're on, but I can't get them connected.
Yeah.
I'm trying to even think how to turn the damn thing off. There it goes. Yeah, it's got multiple calls in at once, and it connected to all of them. So I'm gonna have to turn it off and turn it back on. Just take a minute. One of those things.
Oklahoma and Ole Miss might be set for a pretty close basketball game today. Ole Miss up 18-17 at the end of the first quarter.
Yep.
Had a shot at the buzzer. Went off the iron.
The iron was unkind.
The Oakland mayor has asked the move to be blocked.
The move to Vegas for the A's?
Yeah, apparently. That's what it said on the bottom of the screen.
Okay.
I don't like his chances.
No.
His or her chances. I don't know who the Oakland mayor is.
Are we going to Athens? We've got someone covering it for us in Athens. We're going to both be here for the post-game show grind to answer your question. When it became a night game, that became the easy decision.
We don't have a line yet on Ole Miss and Eastern Washington. I was kind of looking for that, but it doesn't exist.
God, I would guess it's massive.
Ole Miss did not cover against Alabama State.
No, they did not.
In the one game Eastern Washington has played, they were in Salt Lake playing the Utah Utes, and Utah beat them 101-66.
All right, we're back. It's back up to the best of my knowledge.
They don't have a home game until December. No. They do not have a home game until December the 28th, by the way.
Hey,
Eastern Washington.
Who do we have?
Hey, boys, this is Tommy from Oxford.
Hey, Tommy, what's up?
Oh, not a whole lot, man. Cruising along at 90 kilometers an hour in Toronto.
Oh. Did you flip some kind of thing to get kilometers?
Yeah,
How does that work?
Well, it's actually the small numbers on your
Oh,
speedometer.
well, yeah, never mind. I'm an idiot. Yeah, sorry. Never mind. I'm stupid.
Yeah, well,
where are you headed?
I took a contract up here in Canada, so I'm headed back to Indiana at the moment to load and come back up here.
So you're just doing a route back and forth to Toronto?
Well, actually, I'm going all the way to Quebec. I'm just coming back through Toronto at the moment.
Toronto's how far from Detroit?
Yeah.
Detroit to Toronto's what, 2 hours?
Let's see. Yeah, probably about 2 hours.
Okay. Toronto.
I'm going to cross back over at Flint, though. That's the harbor I've been going through.
Toronto to Montreal is what?
Ooh, that's a pretty good trek there.
He's going to Quebec, so not his direction.
400.
Montreal's in Quebec, right?
Oh.
Yeah, Montreal's in Quebec.
Okay.
Yeah. I've actually been delivering right above Quebec, right there, about 50, 60 miles above Montreal.
Okay.
In Quebec. Oh yeah, it's really when you're as long as you're in Ontario, it's not that different. But once you get to Quebec, they all speak French, so you can imagine how my accent goes over up there.
What are you hauling?
Cars.
Oh, really?
Yeah, 1,500 GMCs.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And your origin is Indiana?
I pick the trucks up in Indiana and take them to Quebec.
Gotcha. On something like that, like how long is that contract for? Like, I mean, how, like, do you know going in, hey, this is 3 months, 6 months, 2 weeks, whatever?
Probably till it gets warm, because they the way my contract with GM works is they pay me hourly, so they send me to go everywhere that nobody else wants to go. So I go south in the summer and north in the winter. And they really needed help in Canada throughout the winter, so I signed on.
Gotcha. That makes sense. Huh.
Yeah, they kind of do that. I mean, the pay goes up significantly when when you're willing to do what nobody else will. So, I mean, once you've driven all the United States, you might as well go to another country, right?
When you getting back home?
I'm going to be in on December the 21st.
Oh, you're out that long.
Yeah, life has really kicked my ass this year, so I've had to. So I was off work for 2 months this summer, and I have been playing catch up ever since.
Financially, you mean? I assume.
Yeah, emotionally and financially. My oldest son passed away in May.
Oh, goodness, Tommy.
Oh, Tommy, I'm so sorry.
I was off for like 2 months and didn't really think at the moment I was going to be able to go back to work, because
I understand that. Yeah.
it's easy on it's hard on a father, but it's easier on a father than it is on a mother.
Oh, sure.
And I was really, really worried about my wife for a long time there. She just wouldn't eat or anything, and so I just kind of stayed around and babysat her. And then after about 2 months, she finally just looked at me and said, "You've really got to go back to work, and I'm really going to be able to handle this, because, we have 2 other children,
I'm so very sorry. I'm so sorry.
Oh, man. Well, it was back in May. I've had a lot of time out here alone to deal with it. It was rougher on me there because, dealing with her, I couldn't deal with it. So I had to get back out here to be able to unleash my anger on everybody. You know what I mean? Because what are you going to do? Be mean to your wife? That's what she needs, And then I get back out here, and luckily I got a lot of people I talk to on a day-to-day basis that just, excuse the way I was acting for a while there.
Yeah, I mean, people grieve differently. A lot of grief going on. I mean, obviously different being young, but I mean, I remember when my ordeal in 15, Tommy, that you've got to find ways for those outlets to get through it, but they may not look like what anybody else's look like, and the yin and yang of that being okay in the same situation is sometimes pretty complicated.
Oh man, yeah, it just I'll tell you what, it puts a lot of things in perspective. I mean, those situations right there. I mean, I know I look at life a lot differently.
How old was your son?
23.
Okay.
He was my oldest. And I mean, and it had been a rough first part of the year. I don't really want to bring everybody down, but it had been a rough first part of the year because I had kind of forced his hand to grow up a little bit, and then he kind of defied me, and then I put him out, and then you get a call from the sheriff's department, and then it's, the rest is history. That's just bad deals in life.
I'm really sorry.
But I still don't. It's you go through your grief, but and you go through guilt over the things, but at the end of the day, what do you do? What do you really do when someone doesn't want to grow up and they're not doing anything and won't go to work, won't get up, won't do anything, and you go through the guilt afterwards, but you didn't want that to happen, but kind of how are you supposed to handle those situations?
You're doing the best you can. You're trying to put anything into the right motion, and I mean, it's we're all individual humans.
And we're all flawed, I probably could have handled it all better, but at the end of the day, you just want the best for your children, and sitting around your house not doing anything is not what's best for your children. I mean, that's a permanence, that's, that can turn into a permanent state real quick. Like, I mean, how many 40-year-olds, still live with their mother?
Right. No, I understand.
And that's what you don't want, when you want them to be out and work as hard as they can and gain as much knowledge as they can and, be productive citizens and, pay their way in life, and they can be the best. I mean, they can be the best kids in the world. I mean, he never had a discipline problem with him in the world, but laziness, was a thing. But yeah. So Canada's been good for me, guys. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to bring the.
No, you're good.
No, it's all good.
I've been wanting to call you guys, but I've been listening. I'll listen in on the call-in shows, and then I'll get in my little moods, and I say, no, I don't really need to talk to anybody now. But you guys have helped me through a lot. I get to listen to your shows every week, and I mean, it's nice to be taken away from things, mentally, and you get a break, and I just appreciate everything you guys do.
It was good to hear from you, Tommy.
Yeah, good to hear from you.
It.
We'll hope to hear from you again soon, and you and your family will be in our thoughts and prayers. Okay, buddy?
All right. Thank you, guys. You have a good night.
All right. Drive carefully.
Tommy's been with us for a long time. Really appreciate him, always on the road. And he's always talked about getting back home every time.
Yeah, that's awful. Phone lines are open, 662-426-1464. If anybody wants to call in. Don't forget there's more programming coming your way this evening. The Butcher versus the Dance Instructor, which pretty lighthearted, fun little show, which right now would be good. And also Oxford Exxon Podcast Extra with a lot of guests to get you ready for Ole Miss and Georgia. Hey, who do we have? Hey, you're on.
Hello?
You're on. Turn your device down. That way you'll be live with us.
Hey guys, it's Vibin.
Hey, Vibin, what's up?
Not much. Did I crash the system earlier, or did something go up? Because you took my call.
All you guys did it once. There was a lot of calls at one time.
It tried to answer like 4 or 5 calls at once.
It's popping on hand raised guys tonight.
We had a lot of calls. Yes, yes, the system overloaded.
Okay. Well, I was like, okay, he told me to hold on, and then he hung up, and then I was like, oh, I don't know what happened. That whole, do y'all use Audition, or what do y'all use to screen calls or stuff? Is it like an app?
It's a Google thing now. But
yeah, it's an app on an iPad that I use. It's fairly rudimentary. It works, but yeah.
Okay, I got you. I got off the phone with my brother earlier, and I'm not going to lie, this is probably a mistake on my part. I have been very pessimistic about every toss-up game Ole Miss has played this season, and for some reason, I don't feel that way this week. So I'm sure we're going to lose by about 4 scores. I had to kind of talk my brother down from the ledge because he was like, well, statistically, Kiffin does terrible in games like this. And I was like, yeah, but
Lane sort of addressed that, though.
I think he's just referencing the Bama games.
Lane kind of
he was really eye-opening with that.
He was. He admitted that
he's acted differently, which has caused his team to act differently.
He's acted tight, and his team's been tight. So for Lane to admit that, hey, these trips to Tuscaloosa or playing Alabama, I've acted different. That's growth.
Yeah. Well, I think it's a few things. I don't know if he's just come out and bluntly said it, but I think he knows it's just a free shot, period.
He said it more. Yeah,
and I don't know. Y'all tell me if I'm wrong on this. I don't know if this necessarily has a lot to do with it, but I think I think him and Kirby are actually friends. Like, I think Lane's coached a few games this season where he's been very much, obviously you want to win, but you also, there's an added juice to it because you want to stick it to the guy on the other sideline. I don't think he has that with Kirby.
No, they're legitimately friends, and there's just a respect for the program because, like, it's thing with Jimbo. Like, look, I'm sure they're not into it personally, and they love each other or anything, but a lot of that is because Jimbo's failures giving his resource level. Well, I mean, Kirby maximizes his insane resource level. So Lane respects everything about that program, what they do, because he's not falling off, or Lane's like, oh, good God, give me half that, and we're golden.
Yeah.
I think that plays a role.
I think if anything, you could make the argument that Kirby, I don't know if he did the entire Saban, powerhouse blueprint, but he just took everything most of the stuff he learned from Saban and went to this school that already had resources and was like, hey, this is how we do it.
No, 100%.
If y'all want to win at that level,
yeah, no, 100%. And what he's finally done is acting like him. For a while, I always thought Kirby was kind of a Nick clone, and he tried to say the same thing Saban would say, and it just came off sort of forced. But since he won the first one, and maybe even the year before that, he's in his own skin a little better. He's more comfortable, and I feel like he is giving you just his personality, which is finding every slight just to try to find an edge for a team that doesn't lose very often.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe Saban was that petty at that age, but Kirby kind of lets it out in the open a little bit more, I feel like. Like the Dan Mullen thing, that was kind of I was like, oh, okay. Didn't expect that. I mean, he basically eviscerated Dan Mullen because I think Mullen predicted that Florida was going to upset Georgia. And I don't think Saban would do that. I do have one question, though. I've kind of been thinking about this all week because I'll be honest, I think I made a thread in August. It was like all right, season prediction time, guys. I think I had Ole Miss at it was either 7-5 or 8-4. They're 8-1 right now. How long have y'all, Neal? I know you got here around the time Nutt was here. Chase, how long have you been covering Ole Miss football?
2006.
Okay. Outside of the 2008 Cotton Bowl team and maybe the 2012 Freeze's first year team that had Moncrief and CJ and all them, is this the most overachieving team you guys think you've covered at Ole Miss?
It's in the realm for best coaching job. Overachieving is a more complicated answer. I know it's the same, but it's a little bit of semantics there. It's in there with 12 for best coaching job, I think. Managing it, getting the transfers, because if you're including getting the transfers on the team to begin with and putting the right roster together, that's also, more complicated than inheriting and simply changing culture. But I mean, Houston and Freeze, as you mentioned, did it in different ways in those two teams.
28 guys on the two deep.
Yeah.
Are transfers. 28.
God, that's crazy.
28 guys. Here's the crazy.
Well,
you want the crazier number? On the roster, 32 are transfers. They've been incredibly effective in the transfer portal. 28 of 32 are on the two deep.
I think that they obviously went heavy on the transfer portal the year before, and I think they got burned on a couple kids, and I think they kind of – I don't know if they found a way. I think
they changed their no, they did. They changed their
learned a lesson.
They changed the calculus on what
they learned a lesson.
They changed the calculus on what they look for. They put more emphasis on character and motivation and older guys. Yes, 100%.
Yeah, because my whole thing is I'll hang up here soon, but my whole thought process going into this year, and I feel like most rational Ole Miss fans was, okay, really tough schedule. You got to play Bama, LSU, Georgia. A lot of people, including me, thought LSU was going to have enough to win at least win the West this year. So those are going to be 3 losses. So you're probably going to lose 2 or 3 toss-ups. So 8-4 best case. Like if everything went right, 9-3, but 8-4, 7-5. But the whole thing, I feel like going into this year was like, okay, this year's going to be is what it is, but next year's team is supposed to really have a shot. And that's where, if you're an Ole Miss fan, I feel like you have to get excited because I don't think they're going to lose a lot of production going into next season. Maybe they are. I don't know. Maybe Dart's not there next year and they have a bunch of starters transfer out. Anything's possible. I just don't think they are. I mean, it's almost like, 10-2 was what was being hoped for in 2024. I kind of feel like. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong, but all right. Appreciate you guys taking the call. Thank y'all.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think it was what you were hoping for in 24. They're just ahead of schedule. I mean, the thing is, it's not really scheduled because, you do have a lot of guys back, but you got to do it again. You lose a ton on that defense. It's all the portal guys, but they're all gone.
I'm fixing some times on schedules. I'm moving things back 15 minutes.
Yeah, that's fine. What time did you have it starting?
I had Butcher versus Dance at 7, so I backed it up to 7:15. I've got to go into this one and back it up to 7:45. Okay, stop. Hey, who do we have? Hey, you're on, caller. Turn your device down. Yeah.
They hung up.
Yeah. Hey, who do we have? Hey, caller, you're on.
Hey.
Hey. Turn your device down and just talk to us.
Hey, Neal and Chase. From Jackson. I don't know if y'all saw this today, but I was scrolling through Twitter and saw that there was an SEC receiver that played with Trey Harris in high school. And I know, Neal, today you were talking about him playing in sort of a rural area in Louisiana. But was wondering if y'all had seen who Trey played with, who's one of his teammates in high school, who's also a receiver and playing in an SEC West.
I saw the tweet, but I didn't pay any attention to it. Who was it?
It was Malik Neighbors.
Oh, really? Wow, that's cool.
Yeah, and I looked up their bios and on the LSU site and Ole Miss site. Malik transferred his senior year of high school, but there's an article that was published by the Daily Advertiser by Spence. I cannot pronounce this guy's last name, but if you just Google Trey Harris high school for Trey Harris, Malik Neighbors High School. There's a cool article on sort of how it talks about how it was sort of an unusual season for their high school, which was Como.
Yeah, Como High School.
Como Spartans.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But they had a couple other guys go to some smaller schools. One went to Nichols, I think. But yeah, I thought it was pretty fascinating to have two of the best receivers in the league.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
I didn't either. And Trey and I have had a couple of North Louisiana conversations, and I did not know that.
Yeah, and then obviously, you mentioned today playing quarterback, but pretty interesting to think about Trey Harris throwing passes to Malik Neighbors.
Yeah, credit to Louisiana Tech for spotting what they thought was wide receiver talent in a high school quarterback, because that's exactly what happened. They brought him to Ruston and converted him to quarterback, and he was to run it to wide receiver, and he was pretty effective fairly quickly.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Anyway, I also have sort of a random question regarding the press and the media. I was wondering, y'all were talking about the bowls, what bowls y'all have the best experiences at earlier. And I was wondering, out of the SEC schools, which SEC press boxes are the most accommodating and least accommodating? I remember last year, on one podcast, one of y'all was talking about how Auburn used to have, where they placed y'all was where the press box used to be. Maybe it's sort of a random spot. You couldn't see half the field. But I'll hang up. Just wanted to know which press boxes are the nicest or most accommodating and, least accommodating. And love everything y'all do, and we'll love any feedback. Thank y'all.
Thank you. Auburn used to be great.
They moved them in the corner.
Now they're in the corner where it's not accommodating at all.
Georgia is great.
Yeah. Did you know? I bet you don't know this.
No.
Did you know that tomorrow night or Saturday night is the last game in that press box?
I did not know that.
They're tearing that press box out at the end of this game, making suites, and they're putting the media in a end zone.
So like Auburn.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Yep.
I did not know that. In the past, from help to seats to food, Georgia has been excellent. LSU is very good.
LSU's outstanding.
Bama's good. Vandy's bad, and in State, I'm always freezing, so it's awful.
Yeah, I would
open air press boxes in the weather. I'm out.
I would put. Hold on one second, caller. I'll get to you. I would put Georgia, LSU, Florida at the top. Florida's press box is really, really accommodating. Yeah. Hey, who do we have?
It's Jason, man.
Hey, Jason.
How you doing, buddy?
We're good. How are you?
Hey, I got a little question for you. I know you like the NBA, and I like the NBA myself. I'm an Ole Miss fan and all that. But I was just looking on it the other day about Terrence Davis wasn't with no NBA team. I was trying to go into the scores, and team, whatever. And I got to looking, I was like, where is it? Why ain't he with a team? Because he was pretty productive coming off the bench last year for the Kings. And I was like, man, you know what I'm saying? I didn't know if you might have known something about that or not,
Yeah, his problem is that he is sort of priced himself out of the way that the current CBA is constructed.
Yeah.
He's expensive for a bench piece, and most of these teams now they're paying their top guys, and they're really filling in the roster with young guys as much as they can.
Right.
So he's kind of in no man's land.
Yeah, with veteran minimums and stuff like that, right? I got you. I just wasn't sure, man, because I was like, he looked pretty good coming off the bench. You know what I'm trying to say? He was pretty productive, I guess, at times. But I was like, I can't believe he wasn't on the roster. And I got to looking through all the rosters, and I'm like, let me Google him and see what's going on, because he's a rebel. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I was just like, man, I can't even believe he's out of the league right now. I was like, what's going on? But I know you kind of keep up with the NBA a lot, so I just kind of hollering at you to see what's going on. I appreciate y'all's show, man. Y'all, and I appreciate y'all not being the Kool-Aid drinkers. You feel me? But I sure appreciate y'all, man.
Thank you for the call.
Thanks, Jason.
Bye. Yeah, he's got a chance to end up on a roster. He's just probably going to have to take a pay cut. And guys don't want to take pay cuts. I understand that. But the way the structure of the new CBA is, he's kind of in no man's land. Hey, who do we have?
Hey guys, it's Austin.
Hey, Austin.
Hey guys. So I know we're up against time. I'll be quick. But I just I wanted to ask you guys this. So hypothetically, and by the way, before I get into that, Neal, sorry that I bothered you on 20 minutes on McCready and Siskey on Tuesday. Sorry I didn't send the pictures earlier. My bad, bro.
Oh no, it's all good. The picture helped.
Oh,
the picture helped. What did you?
I appreciate.
What did you think of? What did you think of the? What did you think of the advice?
Oh, dude, I thought it was great. I loved it. I loved how you guys like very nicely called me ugly. By the way, I thought that was great.
No, it's just about, hey, look who you're talking to. It's about. Again, I'm a big believer in this. You gotta be willing to look in the mirror and be honest with what you see. That's all.
Absolutely.
It shapes decisions. There's no reason to walk through life.
Agree.
There's no reason to walk through life thinking you're 6'9" when you're 6'1". There's just no reason to do it. You got to be real with who you are.
I absolutely agree with that, and I appreciate your fairness. By the way, I really do. So I know time. I'm gonna be quick. So real quick, 2-part question. Number one, if we go to an Access Bowl, are you guys contemplating going and covering it live, or are you guys going to stay back and cover it at the house? Because I know it's holiday season.
No, I'll go.
And
someone
number
will be at
two-
the bowl game
Yeah,
for sure.
I'm already planning. I'm in my
Gotcha.
mind. I'm planning to leave the morning after Christmas to go somewhere.
Got you. Well, I hope you guys enjoy that. Be safe. But secondly, if you got your own personal wish, like if you just, if you were a fan, hypothetically, if you got to pick between Miami, Florida, Peach Bowl, and then you got to pick the Cotton Bowl, hypothetically, which one would you want? Because I know which one I'd want.
Personally, I would pick either Dallas or Atlanta because it would be a little easier to get to. From a pure standpoint of what might be kind of fun, I would pick Phoenix.
That would be so cool.
But look, I mean, 10-2,
It would be really cool
10-2 in
to
any of those,
town.
10-2 in any of those Access Bowls is it's awesome. I mean, think of how many programs would trade places. That was my point this morning that some people pushed back on was, if before the season I had said, all right, here's door number 1. Behind door number 1 is 10-2. You beat LSU, you beat Mississippi State, you beat Arkansas, you beat Auburn. I even give you that much. You go to an Access Bowl. Now, you can take that right now, or we'll close door number 1 and we'll open door number 2. And you'll get what's behind door number 2. Maybe it's better. Maybe it's worse. I just remember the general sentiment. I think 90-some-odd% of Ole Miss people would have said, door number 1 is perfectly good, Neal. Thank you. And that's that's my point about the moving the goalpost. It's not me trying to be condescending. It's me trying to put in perspective. Most people would have said, oh, not only will I take door number 1, I will take door number 1 joyfully. And because door number 2 could have been 7-5 and the Music City Bowl or the Liberty Bowl. Door number 2 could have been 8-4. I mean, yeah, sure. Door number 2 could have been 11-1, but it could have been 6-6. I mean, I just think that's all I was trying to get at this morning. I wasn't trying to be a jerk. I was really trying to say, hey, enjoy the winning and enjoy the free shot. Free shots don't come around very often.
I can't remember which one of you guys said this earlier this week, but one of you guys used the Andy Bernard quote. The wish you were like, don't forget the good old days.
It was Neal this morning or
young,
yesterday
or
morning.
something like.
Yeah, I mean,
Got you. Like this is the good old days.
Oh, I don't think for Ole Miss this
At
is.
least to me it is anyway.
I think for Ole Miss the good old days might be coming. I think for Georgia this.
Yeah, that was a Georgia comment.
For Georgia, these are the good old days. I mean, my God, these are the good old days, Georgia. I mean, you don't. Hopefully, you don't need Andy Bernard to look back and say, "I wish someone would have told me these were the good old days." These are the good old days, Georgia. Enjoy them. I mean, my God, these are the good old days. I mean, they'll be talking about. They'll be talking about. They'll be talking about this 50 years from now.
That is true. That is 1,000% true. Well, guys, hey, listen, I know y'all are up against time. I really appreciate y'all taking my call. And by the way, Neal, thanks for the advice, man. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome. Hope it all works out.
Have a good one, guys.
You too. Yeah, I've got pictures of random women on my phone. I've got. if Laura asks, I'm like, well, see, there's a story.
Yeah. See on Tuesday.
See what happened is.
Yeah. There's this cat, and he thinks Jalen Hurts is better than Mahomes, and this happened. And look, see.
Speaking of cats,
suddenly you do become that meme with the guy that's in front of the board with all the stuff on the back going, hey.
There's cat hot,
yeah,
and there's snake hot, and there's a difference. Let me walk you through that.
Oh God.
All right, we're gonna wrap it there because yes, we do have more programming coming to you, and if we don't get to it, it's going to be super late. Thanks to everybody who called. Almost a 2-hour show, this is great. Don't forget, we've got the Butcher versus the Dance Instructor presented by LB's Meat Market coming in about less than 15 minutes.
Yeah.
And then right after that, literally right after that, it is the Oxford Exxon Podcast Extra Edition. Put it up on one of your screens. Put it on your computer. It's really good. I talked to Mike Griffith of the Atlanta Journal-Constitution. I talked to Roddy Nabulsi of the Georgia Rival site, and then Ben Mintz of Barstool Sports. It's about 2.5 hours, so it'll get you through the evening. We'll get all of this up to you in podcast form. If you're driving to Athens, we'll pretty much get you there from wherever you're from in podcast form. So have a great weekend. We will be back on Saturday night after Ole Miss and Georgia. Win, lose, or I guess there can't be a draw. Win or lose, we'll be here with you for podcast form. And we'll have coverage at rebelgrove.com as well. So, again, thanks to the people at Comer Heating and Air, Southern Air Conditioning and Heating. Thanks to everyone who called. And thanks to everyone in the stream. We certainly appreciate all of you guys. And Tommy, if you're still listening, buddy, we're thinking about you. And you're in our thoughts and prayers. So we will see you guys on Saturday night. Until then, for Chase, I'm Neal. Take care.